The Egyptian monarchy began to strongly support Aten during the reign of Amenhotep II. This rendered the Amenists virtually powerless, as every trace of their religion was erased from the face of the earth. Images were defaced, statues were melted, and the treasures were ransacked. The incalculable wealth built by generations now lay at the feet of the new gods, Aten, Akhenaton, and Nefertiti. The traces of all religion that wasn't that of Aten were erased by the monarchy. The priests were all driven out of the land as well. In place of the old places of worship, Akhenaton had set up taxes and forced labor projects to build the new temples of Aten. He then decided that the majority of the revenue generated from the cities under his control would be directed to himself. He strangled the cities until they all worked for their god-king Akhenaton. For the first time in the history of Egypt, the king's cabinet was composed solely of military generals who could have only gained positions of power, or even a spot on the throne, by means of a military coup. The city of Akhenaton had essentially become a military camp. Large platoons patrolled the area, guards stood by at every corner, and the forces always remained within proximity of Akhenaton. He was not a man that was open to discussion. He demanded complete and utter subservience. Depictions of him and his family being adored by the masses only start to make sense at a closer look. It is clear that the citizens are held in check by an alluring military presence. His prosecution of Egyptian gods must not have only outraged the citizens, but it must have also aggravated the individual members of his forces. The excommunication of Akhenaton could not have been possible without the support of the army. There are hardly ever soldiers wearing native Egyptian dress depicted near Akhenaton. Rather, the only ones close to him bear a stunning resemblance to the Asiatic dress identical to that worn by the Hyksos of the city of Avarice. Akhenaton was so loathed and out of touch with the people of Egypt that he required mercenaries or foreign soldiers in order to prolong his tyrannical rule. However, further research reveals that the Hyksos may not have been so foreign to Akhenaton. Several historians have some controversial theories regarding the Israelites. Some suggest that the Israelites may not have been impoverished, oppressed slaves, as we have been led to believe. In fact, the Israelites may have been pharaohs themselves. The chiefs of the Israelites were descended from the Hyksos pharaohs of the 13th dynasty of Egypt. Their capital cities were Memphis and Avaris. Avaris would later be known as Pi-Ramses, although it had been known as Zaru and Zion as well. Avaris is suggested to be the city where Akhenaton had grown up and was educated. It is also said to be situated in the Goshen area of the Bible, in the eastern zone of the Nile Delta. The Hyksos of the 13th dynasty were a despotic, unloved, and possibly foreign invading group. The Atenists may very well be descended from this line of pharaohs. Avarice is also where we get the word greed. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob may have been the Hyksos shepherd kings pharaohs of Egypt. Akhenaton himself is said to be a direct descendant of these pharaohs. The Hyksos dynasty was heavily influenced by the priests of Heliopolis, who were priests of the sun cult. The Atenists of the 18th dynasty were just the belief system of the 13th dynasty rebranded. Many of the 18th dynasty monarchs worshipped Aten in private, but Akhenaton imposed Aten upon the entire reach of the monarchy. This suggests that Atenists did not rise with Akhenaton. He was just the first to take it to extreme lengths. The prefix "hyke" can vary in meaning depending on the pronunciation of the EU. It can either mean captive or king, making it very easy for historians to possibly misidentify the Hyksos. We are taught that Moses was a Levite. However, the people of Moses were comprised only of those possessing Egyptian names. Some historians believe that Amenemhet, the first of the 12th dynasty, could be the biblical Abraham, while Amenemhet III is believed to have been the biblical Joseph.